Hey guys, we're live. We're live. We're doing our first F1 watch along today. We're watching along to, I guess that's a verb, watching along to the USGP qualifying. I believe I'll be live streaming my commentary to this race tomorrow. It'll be my first F1 race live stream commentary, but I already got a couple cars out on track as there is a threat of rain in the area. So we'll have to see if that comes into play. How are you guys doing today? But hey, how are you guys doing? I'll let you guys know as soon as these guys have turned any laps. A lot of guys on their out laps right now, including Max Verstappen. But how are you guys doing so far today? A lot of guys out on their out laps early in Q1, mainly because there's a threat of rain in the area, so guys want to make sure and get a fast lap time down before rain may come. There isn't a certain chance of rain, but a possibility. Yeah, track limits are also being an issue. Well, not being an issue, but something that we're going to have to keep track of. A lot of guys have stepped over the boundaries in practice this weekend trying to get that extra inch, that extra speed. You don't want in qualifying to lose a lap time here because you just got all four tires over the white line just barely. So, Lance Stroll and both Haas cars and both the Red Bull cars, as well as Charles Leclerc, are out there making their first laps. And Leclerc's the first one to get the green flag with 15 minutes left in Q1. It takes a long time to get around this track. So, you're going to want to make sure you're out there getting your out lap done before the session ends. Leclerc, has the fastest Sector 1 of qualifying yet, because he's the first car out there. Both Mercedes cars are now out there as well. So both Mercedes, both Red Bulls, and both Haas cars, as well as Leclerc and Stroll, are out there. And it looks like, I believe, we'll see here in a second. Oops, here we are. So yeah, we got the leaderboard up there. Well, I'll kind of fill them in once they get eliminated. So Stroll sets down the fastest lap time, 2 seconds faster than Schumacher, or a second and a half faster than Schumacher. And those Haas cars, they usually struggle, but this weekend they've been horrendous. They have been multiple seconds off the next car. And now Leclerc sets the fastest lap time, 7/10 quicker than Stroll. Only 3 cars have completed a lap so far. My anticipations for the guys going out in Q1, obviously both Haas cars and both Williams. And we'll see, possibly Fernando Alonso has struggled, but I don't think it'll be him. I believe it'll be one of the Alfa Romeos possibly. Even though the Alfa Romeos have shown a little bit of pace this weekend, or a bit more than what they usually have. Appreciate anybody who's checked on the video. So, yeah, both the Red Bulls running within a half a tenth of each other, and they're going to be at the top of the leaderboard. They're 7/10ths ahead of Leclerc and a second and a half ahead of Stroll. Bottas has a bit of a wiggle going over the hill in turn one. We got it. Almost the whole field. Yeah, the entire field is basically on the track right now trying to get a lap in. So there's a lot of traffic. Appreciate anybody watching, though. Oh, hey, Bottas has got some traffic in front of him. He gets around it. They get out of the way. Now he goes off of turn 11 onto the big back straightaway. Yeah, everybody out there on track right now. First of them are finally making it onto pit road after putting down their first lap. Oh, here he goes. He goes around the outside of Vettel. Right now, Bottas is going to be the first Mercedes to put a lap down here in a second. We'll see how he compares to the Red Bulls in Q1. Goes through turn 20 onto the big front straightaway. And at the line, Bottas is in third, and that's a tenth or so off the leader Verstappen. He did have a big wiggle, though, during that lap time. And Hamilton in fourth, 2/10ths off Verstappen, or almost 3/10ths. So far, 7 guys have put down a lap time. That includes Verstappen, Perez, Bottas, Hamilton, Leclerc, Stroll, Schumacher in that order. That's how their lap times compare. Ricciardo is purple in Sector 1. But we've seen a lot of them. We've seen the McLarens have pace in Sector 1, but it kind of falls off in the other 2 sectors. Ricciardo working his way around some of those big looping turns or big flat turns in this track. Man, these guys are so much quicker than the NASCARs around here. Thanks to anybody who's watching. And Tsunoda's on the leaderboard. He's in 6th. That puts him ahead of Vettel and Giovinazzi and Stroll. And Ricciardo goes quickest in Q1. Wow, we'll see how Lando does compared to that. Lando goes 3rd quickest. And he's only a 10th or so off his teammate's pace. Sainz goes 4th quickest. Currently, Mazepin's on the cutoff line. Mazepin has really struggled, it seems, this whole weekend, even more than normal. Vettel has almost a close call through the S's there with, I believe that was Mazepin. That was almost scary. Haas is getting in the way. Russell goes P13. So Ricciardo has the fastest Sector 1. And then Bottas is fastest in Sector 2. And Perez is fastest in Sector 3. Now Alonso's on the cut line. And Latifi, Schumacher, Raikkonen, Mazepin are the first 4 out. And Gasly is yet to set a time, but he'll be coming around here in a second, I believe.
I hope that wasn't me in his way. I'm not saying it was, because I don't know, but he's got sort of a paternal interest in terms of helping young.
Yeah, as they are right now, Ricciardo, Verstappen, Norris, Sainz, Perez, the top 5. And then right behind them are the 2 Mercedes. Then Gasly goes P8, and then you have Leclerc, Tsunoda. I'm going to mess up a couple of these names, so just bear with me. Tsunoda and P10. And then you got Vettel, Gio, Italian Jesus, and then Stroll, Russell, Ocon. And then the guys below the cutoff line right now are Alonso, Latifi, Raikkonen, Schumacher, and Mazepin. Schumacher's currently out there trying to bust back into the top 15, but the Haas's have really shown little to no pace this weekend, which is, typical of the Haas, but even they're showing less pace than normal. I'll put it like that. Oh, maybe as a bit of a lockup through turns 15. And now Verstappen's out there making another go at it. And now Schumacher across the line. Maybe he moves up to P18. It looks like both of the Alpines are going to be looking to go out and make another lap time right now. They're in 15th and 16th, so they're both in danger of getting eliminated. Perez making another go at it. And Verstappen goes quickest by a half a tenth over Ricciardo and Norris now. See how Perez does compared to his teammate this time by. Will he find some more pace in that car on his second qualifying attempt in Q1? And there you have it. Perez goes P2, only 0.2 or 0.02 off his teammate. Wow, that was close. Lance Stroll on his lap got a tiny bit on the sausage curb in P19 and went over the curbs quite a bit off the exit of P19. And that lap will also be eliminated for exceeding the boundaries as he went over the white line. Kimi Räikkönen has also done the same thing. We've seen quite a few times this weekend where guys have been overstepping it in those P19, P20, or turn 19 and turn 20, those last two turns before they come back to the front straightaway. 5 minutes to go in Q1. Alonso, Latifi, Schumacher, Räikkönen, and Mazepin, the five guys below that cutoff line right now. Ocon, Russell, and Stroll, the first three guys to the good. But yeah, so it's looking right now that both Haas's will go out and possibly both Alpines in Q1. But right now, I'd say, anybody in the top 10 looks about safe. We got about a half a second between them and that cutoff line. The gap between P18 and P1, considering that the guys in P19 and P20 had their laps taken off, so they haven't really run laps yet. There is a 2-second gap between the field right now, which is pretty big. And it looks like both the Mercedes are going to be going back out again to try and improve their lap times. It looks like one of the Ferraris will join them, as well as one of the Alpines and one of the Alfa Romeos. So we got a stream of about 7 or 8 cars, or maybe it looks almost like about 10 cars or so going out once again to make another hot lap with 3 minutes left in Q1. So this will probably be everybody's last shot at making it into Q2. Appreciate everybody watching. So we'll have to see how Räikkönen does now this time, since his last lap was taken off the board. See if he'll be able to advance himself through Q1. Oh, I thought there was a fire or something, but they've just got some like big old inflatable, like some cool, crazy mechanical inflatable fire thing in the infield. I thought somebody just crashed or something. Wow, that's crazy. Man, it is packed out there today. Sold out crowd in Circuit of the Americas. Yeah, you got 15 of the 20 cars are out on the track right now. Obviously, all of them will be making their last shots at the getting into Q2 here this time by. So yeah, there are a couple cars that'll be going to the back of the grid on Sunday, no matter what. And those are like Alonso, Russell, and Vettel. So for them, there's not huge value in advancing through Q1, but so it looks like the first person to get that green flag, if you say that, to start their final attempt at a hot lap in Q1 is one of the Alpines. I'm not quite sure who that is. And now Bottas has taken his green flag, and so has Hamilton. Now they're all starting their hot laps, and they'll be followed by about the rest of the field right there. We'll have to see how the Mercedes do, considering right now they're about 0.3 off the pace of the Red Bulls. He's trying to wrap these through the S's right now, Hamilton is. Only 2 1/1000ths off Verstappen's pace through Sector 1. So right on top of each other so far. Hamilton and Verstappen are through Sector 1. Now we'll see how they do through Sector 2. Hamilton goes through the hairpin, turn 11, onto the long straightaway from turn 11 to turn 12. Yellow flag in Sector 1. Now the green flag's back out. Hamilton now 0.2 off Verstappen after that middle sector, Sector 2. So that seems to be where the Mercedes are struggling the most right now. Sector 2 lost 0.2. There, he was pretty much even to the almost to the 1,000th with Verstappen through Sector 1, but in Sector 2 lost a ton of time. Now we'll see how he fares in Sector 3 through turn 20, and Hamilton picks up about 1/10.5 from where he was before, but still 0.2 off Verstappen. He actually may have been a bit quicker than Verstappen in in Sector 3, but yeah, was way off in Sector 2. And Leclerc goes to the top of the leaderboard as time expires in Q1. So now Ocon's the cutoff driver, and now Latifi moves up, knocking Ocon out of Q1. Now Latifi's the driver at risk, but Ocon still has to complete his lap. We'll have to see how he fares. Alonso's also out there trying to advance, and he's in P17. So both Alpines going to have a shot at Latifi as they cross the line, and Ocon advances. Now Stroll is the driver at risk, and Latifi is out in Q1. Now Alonso moves up, and now Gio is the driver at risk. Let's see. And here comes Mazepin across the line. Nope, no. Schumacher across the line. Will he be able to do it? Nope, not Schumacher either. Now Stroll still has to finish in Q1. Will he? So Stroll, Latifi, Raikkonen, Schumacher, and Mazepin are all out in Q1. Stroll the only surprise there. But yeah, they're not going to be happy with that result. So that's a tough one for Stroll. But the fastest sectors in Q1, Leclerc was fastest in Sector 1 and Sector 3, and Bottas was fastest in Sector 2. That's pretty interesting considering that Bottas was the fastest in Sector 2, whereas that was the place where Hamilton was losing the most ground in Sector 2. So Gio just makes it through to Q2. He got lucky because he got quite a bit. Oh, yeah, he spun it going over the curbs off of the exit of turn 1 at the top of the hill. So, yeah, he was lucky. That lap was not going to get him any ground on his final attempt to advance to Q2. And he was lucky that the other guys weren't able to knock him out with their pace. But that is it for Q1. I'll get this leaderboard updated. Getting this leaderboard updated really quick. That is it for Q1. Hold on, we're checking. So I just want to make sure I get the order totally right. So Mazepin was qualified P20, but he'll move up a couple spots because some guys are going to be going to the rear. And then we have Schumacher, Raikkonen.
New projects means new project managers. You need to hire them. Indeed, you do. When you sponsor a job, you immediately get your short list of quality candidates.
I'm sorry, guys. I don't have all the abbreviations down, but I think I got most of them.
Get started today.
So hopefully my leaderboard doesn't look too weird. Okay. So there's that. Should be updating leaderboard here in 1 split second. Oh, my bad, guys. Didn't realize it was all the way over here next to the camera. Okay, here we go. There we go. I think I got Schumacher's and Raikkonen's abbreviations right. I think I may have gotten them wrong. I can't remember now. All of a sudden off the top of my head. Appreciate anybody who's watching. Got 100 playbacks on the day. Wow, it is a busy place there in Texas. I mean, they brought out all the stops today. I mean, it is packed full of people. Last night they had 21 pilots performing in the infield. They got a big infield. What do you call it? Not auditorium, but concert place thing, stage. I always call it the stage. But yeah, it's packed out. The hills around the track are totally full of people. So yeah, they definitely succeeded in getting a packed house for the USGP this weekend. So the 5 cars eliminated in Q1: Mazepin, Schumacher, Raikkonen, Latifi, and Stroll. Stroll the only surprise, but obviously all these guys are going to move up a couple spots once Alonso, Russell, and Vettel all go to the rear of the field for their I don't know what you call it, ever using too many parts or having to repair cars.
I mean, we know Lewis is incredibly quick around here, so you know, he's going to be a factor.
Appreciate anybody watching.
But we know that car's very good quick around here, so it's going to be a very tight session.
So Q2 going to be getting underway here soon in a second. Honestly, my anticipations for Q2, I expect we'll see Alonso, Vettel, and Russell, all 3 of those guys definitely go out in Q2. And then and then Giovanni would also be a good bet. And then after that, I think after that, it's pretty open. I think whoever is going to be in that P11 position, I think it may be a surprise for. I think Ocon is a good bet, but so Mercedes leading them out in Q2. Nobody else is looking to exit their garage stall yet. So let's see how the 2 Mercedes do with their first laps out. In Q1, they're a decent amount slower than the Red Bulls. So we'll have to see how they do in Q2. And actually, there's one Red Bull who's already out on the track. Not quite sure who that is. Now, it's interesting. In Sector 2, that's where Hamilton was struggling, but Bottas, on the other hand, was the fastest car in Sector 2. So that's pretty interesting to see. The Mercedes are not performing like very similar to each other. And now the other Red Bull is making his outlap, as well as one of the both the AlphaTauris. And yeah, now the floodgates are opening. Now everybody's looking to exit pit road and get their outlaps underway. And once again, my bad. I believe this is an Alpine who is the first car on track ahead of both the Mercedes. I got the shades of blue they use for the Alpine and the Red Bull are so similar, I get them backwards. Or maybe that's Russell. I can't tell. Russell, Alpine, and the Red Bulls are all just like, oh, it's confusing me.
Going in a straight line, and that doesn't matter. You want to be in this sort of straight. So, okay, this is about there. Now on track, and George Russell, Valtteri Bottas, and Lewis Hamilton might find themselves coming across the drivers and just want to get on with their outlaps. So we hope that they try to just right, so by the time they get into the first stages, Esteban Ocon, the back of the lap straight, has already started. Flying lap. We're on board with George Russell. Mr. Saturday. George Russell, the man who likes getting into Q3.
Just working on something really quick. But now Russell's the first one actually is going to get that green flag to start Q2, and then Bottas will be following him. Then Hamilton, Verstappen, Perez, then one of the Ferraris. But just about everybody out on track right now. I believe the whole field's out on track. And Russell goes purple in the first sector, but that's because he's the first car out. And Bottas now goes purple first sector. Once again, they're the first couple cars out on the track. Bottas faster than Hamilton in sector 1. Interesting to see who's going to be eliminated. Well, the McLarens show the pace they had in Q1 and Q2. Now Bottas goes fastest in sector 2, but Verstappen's fastest in sector 1 now. Bottas faster than Hamilton in both sector 1 and sector 2. Now will Verstappen beat both Mercedes in the first 2 sectors once again? No, Bottas faster than Verstappen in sector 2. Verstappen faster than Bottas in sector 1. Now at the stripe, Bottas goes to the top of the leaderboard with a 133.959. And Lewis Hamilton improves by quite a bit in the final sector to go to the top of the leaderboard by 1/10.5. Wow, that was surprising. He was slower than Bottas in both sector 1 and sector 2, but then was so much faster in sector 3. He went to the leaderboard. And now Verstappen goes to the top of the leaderboard by 3/10 over both the Mercedes. Wow, that's a lot of pace out of that Red Bull.
The medium tire, and sadly, the information that we were getting on our graphics was completely wrong. Goes 4th fastest, 6/10 down.
Now Perez goes 4th fastest of the 4 cars out on track, 6/10 off his teammate, but again he was on the medium tire, not the soft. And Leclerc goes 3rd fastest ahead of Bottas and Perez, and Gasly. Oh, Perez has his lap time deleted for exceeding track limits in turn 19. That's where we've been seeing guys get busted for. Just going over that white line, getting on the curbs in turn 19 as they go through those final set of turns, overstepping the boundaries, trying to get everything they can. That's where they're losing their ground. Gasly in P6, and Ocon in P7, Alonso P8. Now Ricardo has his lap time deleted. So we've already seen, he was at turn 9. We've already seen 2 cars get their times pulled down in Q2. So now we've had 10 guys put up lap times, and currently the slowest is Alonso. Yeah, you can just see, Perez was just barely over that white line in turn 19. Just barely overstepped those boundaries. Try to get as clean of an apex as you can, and then these guys just overrun it. Try to get in the throttle just a tiny bit too quickly. And yeah, Ricardo just overran it a bit too hard in turn 9. That's another place we've seen people struggle. And there are some dark clouds, but it doesn't look like we're going to get any rain. But yeah, still only 10 guys to put down a lap time. And they're ranked Verstappen, Hamilton, Norris, Leclerc, Bottas, Sainz, Gasly, Ocon, Tsunoda, Alonso. Appreciate anybody watching. Verstappen and Hamilton, though. Verstappen, considerably faster than Hamilton in every sector except sector 3. So, I don't know if Hamilton's struggling with the handling of his car or not, but compared to Q1, he was pretty good in sector 1, but now in Q2, he's really not that good in sector 2. And then in Q1, he wasn't great in sector 3, and now he's great in sector 3. So, yeah, it just keeps oscillating with Hamilton. We aren't seeing a lot of consistency right now out of the Mercedes. 7 minutes to go in Q2. Yeah, the majority of the guys went with mediums and a couple went with softs. It seems like the mediums are faster than the softs, but pretty even right now. Yeah, now 6.5 minutes left. Probably going to see guys make their way back out on track in about a couple minutes. I'll be right back, guys. We're back. But yeah, Verstappen 3/10 quicker than the whole field right now. But now under 6 minutes left in Q2. I have to see if anybody makes another time. I'm assuming everybody's going to make another shot at it other than possibly Verstappen. Oh, and Perez has now hit the track. He's on his out lap. He's on the medium tire compound. He's the only car on track at the moment. A lot of Mexicans, or not a lot of, there's a lot of people supporting Perez. Not specifically Mexican, but probably a lot of Mexicans considering Texas is right on the Mexico border. 20-car crash at Kansas today. 9 involved. They both might be out. They're both out. I didn't see that yet. Since I've been doing this Shield X, But thanks for liking. Thanks for stopping by. I'm going to look that up right now.
Yeah, certainly got the pace, hasn't he, to be comfortably in the top few. I just hope he doesn't need a load of cars coming out with things, but they're quite good.
So yeah, it looks that's definitely bad for their playoff hopes in terms of the NASCAR Xfinity Series side of things. And now Perez is going to be taking the green flag to start his hot lap here in a second. And now one of the McLarens is making their way out on track. I believe that's Ricardo. Yep, it is. He's on medium tire compound as well. A couple of guys tried the softs, but they don't seem to have the same pace as the mediums. So in the low speed corners, so at this track, Hamilton basically matching Verstappen, and they've got 3/10 on the rest of the field. So definitely showing that those two guys are definitely the best two guys right now in the sport. Perez, 2/10 off his teammate Verstappen in sector 1. Wow. Let's see how Perez does in Q2. A lot of the guys are now out on track, making their out laps. Perez the only one though out there actually making a lap time.
You stay right because you want to be on the right hand side. The braking, before you're braking, downshifting done. Sweep into the corner.
Man, in the speed trap, almost 200 miles per hour for Perez. Yeah, these guys' lap times are almost 30 seconds quicker than the guys in NASCAR when they come here, which is pretty astronomical. Obviously, two completely different cars, but now Perez in sector 2, still slower than his teammate, but he just needs to be within about a second and a half of his teammate to be above that cutoff line. Right now, the driver at risk is Fernando Alonso. And Perez goes P7, which is good, but definitely not safe, considering there are 4 guys who are yet to make a lap time. So, yeah, it looks like Ricardo will be the first guy to make the hot lap of these bunch of guys coming out right now. After him would be Gio and then Russell. So we'll have to see, will Ricardo go over the track limits again? Because he can't afford to do that, or else he'll have no time in Q2 and he'll be out. He may have one more shot at it next time by if he chooses to do so. He'll come to that. He'll come to the start line with maybe 5 seconds left on the clock. Ricardo showed a lot of pace in Q1, but right now in sector 1, 3/10 off of Verstappen's time in sector 1. Now to see how they are in sector 2 versus Verstappen. Ricardo will be coming to the straight. Well, it's the end of sector 2 here in a second. His lap time seems to be faster than Perez's so far, and so that'll be definitely something in danger for Perez. Tsunoda is currently the driver at risk. Still 4 guys who've got to put down a lap time. So now he's looking pretty good. He's going to be coming through turn 20, Ricardo, to the stripe. He'll definitely be in the top 10, it looks like. But he goes 9th fastest. Wow, that's definitely not where you want to be. Now Tsunoda's out, and Ocon's the driver at risk. And Gio will go P12 at the moment. And that's the end of Q2. And Ocon's not going to improve. Alonso's not going to improve. So Ocon's still the driver at risk, and there's nothing he can do about it. Tsunoda and Vettel and Russell, all the guys. Oh, Tsunoda actually is going to be the only one who's going to have a shot to knock him out. Here he comes at the line. Tsunoda going to move up to 10th and knock out both the Alpines. And at the end of Q2, you're going to have Russell, Vettel, Alonso, and Gio, or Ocon. Or, well, actually, no. Russell and Vettel both making lap times right now, even though they're both going to be going to the back of the grid on Sunday. Are they going to be able to beat Tsunoda's time? And at the stripe, Vettel goes P12, so now will Russell be able to beat Tsunoda's time? Here comes Russell. Oh, gets pretty loose off turn 20, and he's going to go to P13. So neither of them will knock out Tsunoda. And now both the Alpines, both the Aston Martins, and both the Alfa Romeos, and both of the Williams are out between Q1 and Q2. So I'll update the leaderboard once again.
So through there to Q3 and on the tyres they wanted, the top 5 medium compound tyres for Verstappen, Hamilton, Norris, Leclerc, and Bottas. Sainz did long runs on the soft tyre in FP2.
So yeah, we got. Oh, I believe Russell. Yeah, his lap time, Russell's lap time's eliminated, so he's gonna go back to 15th. But it doesn't matter since he'll be dropping to the rear anyways. June, just like target the leaderboard right. We got Gio in P13. In P12, we've got Vettel, but he'll also be dropping to the rear. And then 11, we've got Ocon. So I'll have that leaderboard updated here for you in a second.
Let's see if we can help. You get regular payments from an insurance company, for example, from a personal injury settlement or a car. Yes, monthly.
Here we go. And now here's the leaderboard for you guys. So yeah, no big surprises really through Q1 and Q2. So yeah, both the Haas's and both the Alpines, both the Aston Martins, both the Williams, and both of the Alfa Romeos out in Q1 and Q2. So that means both the AlphaTauris are still in, both the McLarens, both the Red Bulls, both the Ferraris, and both the Mercedes. Right now, it looks like Verstappen's got a bit of an edge on Hamilton, as well as the whole field. In Q2, was faster by 0.3 than Hamilton, who was in P2. And then the gap between him and P10 was a second and a half, over a second and a half. So yeah, track position is going to matter quite a bit tomorrow on that first lap. Because, I mean, you're going to already see a big gap in pace between some of these guys. Now Q3, we're getting underway here in a second.
Back to qualifying here at the circuit of the Americas. We'll be going for pole in a few moments' time. If you're just coming in late nights back in the UK and you haven't seen qualifying so far, you're striking your customer, press your red button. You can watch highlights alongside the live action. And hopefully,
yeah, this is big, man. So I'm sorry, I was just looking at something else that had to do with NASCAR in this new series, but yeah. So Q3 will be getting underway here in a second. How are you guys doing today? Who do you think is going to get pulled today? Right now, I think Verstappen will probably easily get this pull unless something changes and the Mercedes can finally put together a good lap.
that's exactly what they wanted out of Aston Martin, because Sebastian Vettel, with the engine change, was going to go to the back of the grid. But what he wanted to do was ensure that he was ahead of Fernando Alonso and George Russell, who were also going to the back of the grid. And he starts 18th. And then starting a new team. Yeah, I don't think it's one for Aston Martin who's supposed to be like that. So, very true.
So, yeah, right now, I mean, good job by Tsunoda for making it to Q3. It's definitely not the first time this year, but hasn't made it to Q3 a tons yet this year.
Yeah, that was a nice straight, I tell you. Thanks for the tour anyway. Thanks for the good teamwork.
Yeah, sadly, Esteban got knocked out, but Fernando Alonso played the perfect teammate for him.
Yeah. Fernando just reminding everybody he was playing in a team game. Yeah, it gives him a massive toe. That presumably jumps out of the way when we get there. Yeah, perfect. Nicely done. He was right. That was a nice back straight. The rest of them. But yeah, well done.
It was a lot better than the days he tried to.
But guys, do you think I should stream the F1 race Sunday or the Cup Series race Sunday?
Talking of Ferrari, there's Charles Leclerc waiting to come out. We've got a couple of minutes before the action will get going as we go for pole. And Charles Leclerc been right up there
So,
with the likes of Verstappen and Hamilton.
I mean, the Ferraris and the McLarens have shown a bit of pace in the. I mean, I think it's a pretty open door, to be honest. Right now, Verstappen seems to have quite a bit more pace than the rest of the field. But in Q1, things were a lot more even. So if we can see, you know, possibly if Verstappen doesn't have as great of a lap time this time, I think things are going to be wide open because, I mean, both the top 10 has been very different in Q1 and Q2. I mean, it's been the same 10 guys, but in totally different orders each time. So Q3 due to start in under 30 seconds. See if anybody jumps out on track right away or if people decide to wait.
You've got two from McLaren, you've got two from Ferrari, two from Mercedes, and two from Red Bull. Two by two, by two, by two, by two. Come out at the moment. They're in chat.
So they're saying the wind's picking up by quite a bit out there, and it looks like the Mercedes is going to be going out on track first once again. So far, every session, both Mercedes have immediately led the field out. And it looks like Verstappen's just going to, and both the Red Bulls are just going to hold on in the garage for a couple more minutes, it looks like. Looks like both the McLarens will be joining the Mercedes out there, as well as, I believe it's both the AlphaTauris. Yeah, it's both the AlphaTauris and both the Ferraris. So the only two cars who are not out on the track at the moment are both the Red Bulls. And now it looks like the Red Bulls will be looking to go out here in a second. Maybe they're just kind of giving a gap between them and the field here for when they go out and make their laps. Or Verstappen's gone out. I don't know if Perez has gone out, though, yet. I assume they'll just be following each other out. But yeah, Hamilton and Bottas will be the first two guys putting down lap times in Q3. Bottas was the last winner here, and he's showing some pace. He's looked to be a bit faster than Hamilton actually today. So, you know, it'd be really crazy if Bottas won again today and then somehow both Verstappen and Hamilton crashed out. That would be crazy because then you'd have Bottas only about 45 points. How many points would he be behind even at that rate? He may be less than 50 points behind. Yeah, then he would look to be only about 50 points behind those top two with 5 races to go. Imagine if more chaos happened. Somehow Bottas won this championship in his final season with Mercedes. That'd be crazy.
You're flying a great big aero package through the air, and if you're into it, you've got all that for basically.
So Hamilton looking to get his first pole in the last 5 races. or since 5 races since his last pole. Now here he comes. He's gone past the start line. His lap time is underway as he goes down the main straight, up through turn 1, up the hill, goes around the hairpin. Looking smooth so far, getting on the curbs just a bit. Down the hill, through turn 2, and now he's through the S's. 3, 4, 5, 6. It's flying. Purple sector 1, but he's the first guy out there. Let's see how his lap time compares to Bottas. And now up the hill, the second hill down from turn 10 to the hairpin turn 11. And now Hamilton goes through turns 1 and 2, or through turns 11 down the long back straightaway. He was faster than Bottas in sector 1 and Norris in sector 1. So let's see if Hamilton's finally putting down a strong lap time that can compare to Verstappen here. And he goes purple in sector 2, but he's once again the first guy out there. Bottas was fastest in sector 2 in both the first 2 sessions. We'll have to see how he compares to Hamilton in sector 2. He's faster than Hamilton in sector 2. We'll have to see. The Hamilton's looked strong in the final sector before. We'll have to see how he does in the final sector this time. And now through turn 20, his lap time will be a 1:33.564. That's pretty quick. Now what? I mean, that's been fast. And Bottas beats Hamilton by almost 1/10 of a second. Now I have to see how Verstappen compares to these guys. Norris behind both the Mercedes by half a second.
Lap now, as we see the slow motion replay. That is what the bumps do to a Formula 1 car here at COTA.
Yeah, you've got a very high sidewall on the side. The last year of that, you get a lot of springs.
Yeah, so both the Mercedes got over half a second on what's his name, on Norris. And now Verstappen out on track. He goes purple first sector, but green second sector. So now let's see how Verstappen does in the final sector compared to Bottas. Will he get back on the pole, or will he go Q2 or P2 or Q3? Sainz goes P3. Leclerc goes P4. And at the stripe, Verstappen goes P1 by 2.5 tenths. Bottas quicker than he was in Q2, but still nowhere near. And Perez takes pole by 200ths over Verstappen. Man, now it goes 2 AlphaTauris, 2 McLarens, 2 Ferraris, 2 Mercedes, and then 2 Red Bulls. That's your leaderboard right now. Perez is going to be taking a 5-place grid drop, but we'll now have to see. These guys are going to have another shot at it here in a couple of minutes. We'll have to see how things go, if the leaderboard's going to change up. But right now it's 2 AlphaTauris, 2 McLarens, 2 Ferraris, 2 Mercedes, 2 Red Bulls. Everybody's going to be heading back into the pits for a minute or two. I believe everybody is on the softs this session. At least the Red Bulls were.
One thing he's talked about is moving away from the default Red Bull Verstappen setup in the last couple of races. And he's starting to find his own direction. And clearly, this can get that DP working.
It certainly does. Had a Mexican driver on pole in Formula 1. Sergio Perez ran pole here this weekend with a large Mexican contingent cheering him on. The race before we go down to Mexico City, where he's going to be worked very hard in terms of publicity appearances. About 150,000 fans cheering.
So we'll see guys going out once again in probably about a minute and a half. But you know, while the Mercedes already heading back out, they've only been in the garage for maybe about 30 seconds. The McLaren heads out. I'm going to hold the Red Bulls for just another couple seconds here. Yeah, Verstappen was fastest in Sector 1 once again. Bottas was fastest in Sector 2, and Perez fastest in Sector 3. And it looks like those are the Mercedes. They're out front. And then I believe they're followed by, is that one of the AlphaTauris, a McLaren, a Ferrari, a McLaren. Yeah, the Mercedes showed some real pace on Friday, but today they've really been outdone by the Red Bulls. Bottas in front of Hamilton. You may be wondering if they're going to try and make Bottas skip Hamilton a toe down that long back straightaway this time. So there is a chance of rain here at the last second in Q3, but not very likely. If there is rain, it'll be coming over turns 1, kind of like that upper or that bottom half of the track, turns 1, 2, 3, that area. So probably won't be a huge issue unless until after you finish your lap. But once again, if that all of a sudden starts coming down once these guys are taking the green at that start line, no, that's not good. If these guys are hydroplaning up that hill into turn 1.
What amazes me is they've got enough tire temperature and brake temperature and confidence in these cars. It's just piling.
And Bottas has taken his start, and now here comes Hamilton right behind him.
So the two Mercedes start their final flying laps. In between the Mercedes.
We'll have to see how Hamilton does, and now also see if any rain comes. So far, no rain. Here comes Hamilton down the hill.
5.6 kilometers. You only need quarter per second. How hard can it be? Just go faster.
Through the S's, looking pretty smooth right now. In the first sector, he was just about 100th quicker than Perez. But then again, that's not where Hamilton's been slow. He's been slow in Sector 2. Now, down the back straightaway. Oh, he gets a bit squirrely off that hairpin, turn 11. Now Hamilton, over 200 miles per hour into that speed trap. Oh, boy, he got really close to the track limits there. Hamilton goes fastest in Sector 2. Currently 0.2 quicker than Perez. Are we going to see if Hamilton's going to take provisional pole here? 15 seconds left in Q3. He's coming through those last turns. Through turn 19, is he going to exceed track limits? Oh, nope, he's not. He's going to keep it clean. Verstappen, though, goes fastest in Sector 1. Off turn 20. Here he comes. And Hamilton takes provisional pole by 0.06 over Verstappen. But Verstappen was purple in Sector 1. And Perez and Verstappen both looking really fast so far. Norris is going to go P6. Gasly is going to go P9. Or provisionally at least. They're done. Sainz will go P5. P5 for now. Verstappen with not a good middle sector. He loses a bit of time. Ricardo moves up to 6th, knocking Norris down to 7th. Leclerc moves up to P5, knocking down Sainz, Ricardo, Norris. Gasly and Tsunoda, P9 and P10. Here he comes across the stripe. Verstappen goes P1 by 0.2. And now here comes Perez, and he goes P3. And Bottas will go P4. So now Verstappen and Hamilton will be the front row. And you'll have Perez, Bottas, Leclerc through the P5, and then Sainz, Ricardo, Norris, Gasly, Tsunoda. Hamilton, though, Verstappen definitely seems to have the pace, but Hamilton is showing glimpses of actually having some pace. So Q3 is over, and it's Verstappen with the pull by 0.2 over Hamilton, Perez, Bottas, Leclerc, Sainz, Ricardo, Norris, Gasly, Tsunoda. And Verstappen's shown to have more pace. Oh, they got the orange smoke out in the grandstand. Oh, my goodness. But we'll definitely have to see, because right now it seems as though Verstappen and Hamilton are about even through sectors 1 and 2. And then Verstappen was faster in sector 3, but in each qualifying session, they kind of trade sectors in terms of where each one's faster than the other. But either way, Verstappen's come out on top by 0.2 or so in each qualifying session over Hamilton. Here they got the orange smoke up in the crowd. But yeah, this is going to be a crazy start tomorrow with Verstappen on the inside, Hamilton on the outside. Going up that hill. Oh, boy. Well, I'm just going to cut it there, guys. Thanks for watching. That's all for now. See you guys in the next one.
It's 2 against 1, as I usually say this. It's 2 Red Bulls against 1 Mercedes.